Across Europe, thousands of people visit beautiful ancient locations every year, but a shocking number never return or leave with unexplained experiences. Tonight, we uncover why these mysterious places continue to haunt history, and we solve one question that has terrified travelers for centuries. Are Europe's cursed places real dangers, or legends that grew out of fear? Europe is known for castles, ancient ruins, and breathtaking landscapes. But beneath the stones, tunnels, forests, and forgotten villages lies a darker layer of history. A history shaped by curses, unexplainable disappearances, and shadows that move even when no one is there. In this journey, we will travel across the continent to uncover the truth behind the most cursed and mysterious places ever recorded. Across Europe, countless ancient structures, castles, ruins, cathedrals, underground chambers, silent forests, and forgotten villages hold histories far darker than what we read in textbooks. These places were once alive with human activity, shaped by wars, rituals, kings, soldiers, monks, and everyday villagers who lived and died within their walls. But over centuries, something else formed inside them. A shadow, a story, a presence. And whether you believe in curses or not, these sites continue to produce events that defy explanation, leaving investigators, historians, and even locals struggling to separate myth from terrifying reality. Imagine walking into a medieval castle that survived more than 1,000 winters. The stones are cold, but not just from the wind. Locals whisper that the castle carries a curse placed by its last lord, who died under mysterious circumstances. Visitors report footsteps echoing through empty corridors, doors slamming despite no breeze, and the chilling feeling of being observed by someone or something still guarding its territory. These stories aren't rare. They are repeated across Europe, from England's haunted fortresses to such as demonic castles. Even archaeologists who enter these ancient rooms describe moments where time seems to bend, where the past feels too close, as if centuries are layered on top of each other and thinning with every step you take. Travel deeper into the countryside, into regions untouched by modern life, and the stories grow even stranger. There are forests where trees twist unnaturally, where compasses fail, where entire groups have disappeared without a trace. Some of these forests were used for ancient rituals long before Christianity reached Europe. Shamans, pagans, and mystics believed these places were gateways, points where our world touches something beyond our understanding. Today, when hikers enter such forests, they sometimes report hearing chanting, seeing faint glowing lights between the trees, or feeling an overwhelming urge to turn back, as if the land itself is warning them. Science can measure the tree density, the soil, the magnetic fields, but it still can't fully explain why these sensations occur so consistently, generation after generation. Move toward Europe's abandoned villages and you find histories marked by tragedy. Epidemics, wars, betrayals, and rituals gone horribly wrong have left emotional scars so deep that locals refuse to approach after sunset. Some villages are said to weep at night, the cries echoing through stone houses with no living inhabitants. Historians attempt to trace these stories back to real events, but the more they investigate, the more contradictions they uncover. Documents vanish, timelines break, and eyewitness accounts seem to blend the physical with the supernatural. It becomes nearly impossible to tell where fact ends and legend begins. Then there are the underground world's catacombs, mines, tunnels, and sealed chambers beneath cities like Paris, Rome, and Prague. These places carry the weight of countless human lives, monks who hid forbidden texts, soldiers who never escaped the tunnels, plague victims buried in mass graves, secret societies conducting rites the public was never meant to witness. People who dare to explore these underground labyrinths describe hearing whispers, feeling sudden temperature drops, or experiencing disorientation so powerful that seasoned explorers flee in panic. Devices malfunction, lights flicker, and recordings capture sounds no one remembers hearing in the moment. What ties all these cursed and mysterious sites together is the same unsettling pattern. The longer these places stand, the more stories they collect, the more energy they absorb, and the more unexplainable events take place inside them. History alone cannot justify everything that happens within these walls, forests, and ruins. And as each century passes, these locations continue to act like living archives of fear, tragedy, and superstition, preserving moments that refuse to fade, haunting anyone who steps too close to their hidden past. Every cursed place across Europe carries a story, a moment in history where something went terribly wrong, leaving behind a stain that never quite faded. These aren't random spots marked only by superstition. Each location has an origin rooted in real events: wars, betrayals, forbidden rituals, unexplained tragedies, or mass disappearances that shape the legends we hear today. And when you dig into the past of these sites, the chilling part is how often the historical record lines up perfectly with the paranormal claims people still report. Take the old European fortresses that stand on hilltops overlooking vast landscapes. Many were built during eras of relentless conflict, times when prisoners were tortured, commanders were assassinated, and civilians were executed within the castle walls. Documents preserved in ancient archives describe nights when soldiers heard screams echoing through the dungeons long after they had been emptied. Today, paranormal teams report the exact same phenomena: the sound of metal dragging across stone floors, whispers coming from sealed chambers, a feeling of being watched by figures no longer alive. The alignment between historical suffering and modern experiences is too precise to ignore. Move to the abandoned churches and monasteries scattered through remote mountains and forests. These places once served as spiritual sanctuaries, but disaster struck many of them in ways that still leave researchers puzzled. Fires that started without explanation, monks disappearing during storms, strange symbols carved into altars that historians can't translate. When you combine these facts with more recent sightings, shadowy figures, sudden cold spots, or ghostly chanting, you begin to see that the stories didn't emerge from nowhere. They grew directly from real episodes that shocked and terrified people centuries ago. In some places, the origins stretch even deeper into the era of ancient pagan tribes. Before Christianity, Europeans practiced rituals meant to communicate with gods, spirits, and forces of nature. They performed ceremonies at specific sites: stone circles, forest clearings, underground springs, believing these locations held powerful energy. Centuries later, these same places are known as hotspots of paranormal activity. Travelers report seeing glowing orbs floating above the ground, hearing drumming in the distance, or feeling an invisible presence walking beside them. The paranormal encounters match the ancient traditions almost perfectly, as if the rituals left an imprint that time couldn't erase. Then there are the cursed villages whose tragic origins are documented in historical records. Stories of entire towns wiped out by plague, betrayals that tore families apart, or dark pacts made during times of desperation. Old journals describe villagers hearing crying voices hours before mass deaths occurred. Modern visitors claim they hear the same sounds. It's as though the emotional trauma embedded itself into the environment, replaying over and over like an echo trapped across centuries. Even scientific investigations into these places reveal odd consistencies. Devices detect electromagnetic spikes exactly where medieval scribes noted supernatural events. Temperature drops align with locations where ancient legends describe ghostly apparitions. And when skeptics attempt to disprove the claims, they often find that the documented history supports the paranormal stories far more than they expected. What emerges is a pattern so strong it can't be dismissed. These cursed locations aren't fueled by imagination alone. They are built on foundations of real suffering, real violence, real rituals, and real mysteries that left permanent marks on the land. The paranormal stories didn't create history. The history created the stories, and both refuse to be separated. No matter how many centuries pass, when you study Europe's most cursed and mysterious places for long enough, a disturbing truth begins to emerge. The events happening today are not new. They're repetitions, they're echoes. The same types of disappearances, the same kinds of deaths, the same sightings and experiences recurring across decades, centuries, and in some cases, even millennia. It's as if these locations follow a pattern, a cycle that refuses to break, drawing new victims into the same fate as those who came before them. Take the infamous forests of Eastern Europe, where travelers vanish without a trace. Reports from the 1700s describe hunters who wandered in and never returned. In the 1900s, locals told identical stories about soldiers who entered but were never seen again. And today, hikers record eerily similar accounts, losing their sense of direction, hearing disembodied voices and suddenly feeling as though someone is walking right behind them. GPS devices malfunction in the exact same spots where 18th century maps marked dangerous ground. It's not random. It's not coincidence. The forest behaves the same way, generation after generation, as if repeating a script no one can rewrite. Move toward castles and strongholds layered with dark histories. In some of these ancient fortresses, guards from the medieval era wrote about seeing shadowy figures patrolling the corridors at night. Centuries later, tourists and workers described the exact same silhouettes pacing along the same hallways. The chilling part is how precise the details are. The shape is the same. The movement is the same. The locations are the same. It's as though whatever haunts these places is performing an endless loop, forever reenacting something that happened long ago, unable to rest or escape. Even in remote villages abandoned after tragedies, the repetition continues. Historical records from the 1500s tell of nights filled with unexplained wailing cries that villagers believed were omens of death. Today, the ruins echo with the same haunting sounds at the same times of night, reported by explorers and paranormal investigators. Temperature drops, sudden gusts of wind, or the feeling of being surrounded by invisible figures happen in the exact spots where villagers once claimed to see apparitions. These aren't isolated moments. They follow a long, disturbing pattern that stretches through time. Underground tunnels and catacombs tell an equally unnerving story. Medieval workers wrote about feeling dizzy, losing their balance, or hearing their names whispered from dark corners. Modern explorers filming documentaries experience identical sensations, even with advanced lighting and oxygen systems. Some claim the tunnels shift, making them walk in circles, just as ancient miners once reported. The same panic, the same disorientation, the same invisible presence pressing against their backs as they try to find their way out. And then there are the sightings, those ghostly figures, strange lights, or faceless shadows that people swear they've encountered. A monk seen wandering a cloister despite having died 700 years earlier. A woman in black appearing at a castle window that hasn't opened since the 19th century. A mysterious red light glowing in a field, mentioned in pagan texts and now filmed by tourists using modern smartphones. The descriptions hardly change, the stories match. The locations match, the behavior matches. Investigators try to explain it all as folklore, exaggeration, or the human mind playing tricks, but the consistency over hundreds of years makes that explanation difficult to swallow. Different eras, different witnesses, different cultures, and yet the same experiences repeat like clockwork. It's almost as if the land itself remembers, and it forces those memories to play out for anyone brave or unlucky enough to step inside these haunted locations. In many parts of Europe, the influence of these cursed and mysterious places doesn't stop at ancient legends or strange sightings. It seeps directly into local culture, shaping traditions, warnings, superstitions, and even the daily routines of entire communities. These haunted locations become more than just eerie landmarks. They become forces that guide how people live, what paths they avoid, what stories they pass down, and what rituals they perform to protect themselves. The fear is so deeply rooted that it becomes part of their identity, woven into the fabric of their culture like a shadow that never leaves. In small villages near haunted forests, locals still refuse to travel at certain hours, not because of wild animals or dangerous terrain, but because the forest wakes up at night. This belief isn't just a superstition whispered among the elderly. Parents pass it to their children, and the children grow up treating it as an unquestionable rule. Some communities mark the entrances to cursed woods with carved symbols, placed there by ancestors who believed these signs could weaken the spirits inside. Even today, villagers repair the symbols every year, not out of tradition alone, but out of a lingering fear that letting them fade would invite something dark into their homes. In regions surrounding cursed castles, entire festivals and rituals have formed around the legends. People gather yearly to cleanse the air around ancient towers using smoke, fire, or sacred herbs. They chant old prayers or walk in circles around the castle grounds, repeating gestures that date back hundreds of years. Ask them why they do it, and their answer is simple: so the shadows stay inside. Whether the ritual truly works or not, the belief in its power shows how deeply these haunted sites influence cultural behavior. There are towns where no one builds houses in specific areas, not because the land is unstable, but because those spots were once believed to be gateways for spirits. Local builders refuse to touch the ground, saying every family that settles there experiences misfortune. These forbidden zones appear on unofficial maps passed down within families, almost like secret knowledge meant to prevent newcomers from repeating old mistakes. Even when modern developers try to ignore the warnings, strange accidents, or unexplained setbacks convince them to abandon the projects. The culture reshapes itself around the mystery, not the other way around. In coastal areas near cursed cliffs or rocky shores, fishermen follow ancient rules when setting sail. Some refuse to speak while launching their boats, believing certain words attract bad luck from spirits said to dwell beneath the waves. Others leave small offerings, bread, coins, or candles near dangerous rocks believed to be haunted by those who drowned there centuries ago. Outsiders might laugh at these acts, but locals follow them faithfully, convinced that the sea remembers every tragedy and reacts with a vengeance to disrespect. Even music and storytelling traditions are shaped by these mysterious places. Ballads sung in taverns or around fires often recount tales of lost travelers, cursed noblemen, or restless spirits. These songs aren't just entertainment. They are warnings disguised as music, meant to keep younger generations away from dangerous areas. Grandparents tell ghost stories not only to scare children, but to ensure they know which places must be avoided. Over time, these stories become cultural anchors, shared memories of events witnessed by ancestors, kept alive to prevent history from repeating. Some communities treat certain dates as cursed, linked to past tragedies that happened at the same location. On those nights, people lock their doors early, avoid the roads, and keep candles lit to ward off whatever they believe emerges at that hour. Even when centuries pass, these traditions survive, held tightly by people who feel the presence of something ancient lingering too close for comfort. These haunted locations shape identity, belief, and behavior. They influence how people navigate their environment, which paths they trust, which buildings they enter, and which areas they avoid at all costs. The culture becomes a reflection of the curse, constantly adapting to the unseen forces that locals believe still roam the land, reminding everyone that some places in Europe are not just haunted, they are culturally alive with fear, memory, and mystery. As technology advances and our understanding of the natural world grows, you would expect the mysteries surrounding Europe's most cursed places to slowly fade away. But the opposite is happening. The more investigators explore these locations armed with cutting-edge tools, thermal cameras, electromagnetic sensors, ground-penetrating radar, and historical archives, the deeper the mysteries become. Modern science steps into these haunted places hoping to reveal logical explanations. Yet almost every investigation ends with more questions, more anomalies, and more evidence that something truly unexplainable lingers in these ancient sites. Scientific teams who enter cursed forests often find their equipment malfunctioning at the very moments they attempt to measure unusual activity. Compass needles spin, batteries drain instantly, and radio signals distort into static or strange whispers. These glitches don't happen randomly. They occur in the exact areas where locals have reported supernatural events for generations. When researchers try to map these zones, the patterns are startlingly consistent. They match centuries-old drawings from explorers who claim these areas were places where the world bends. Even with modern tools, scientists still cannot determine what causes the distortions or why they remain so perfectly stable across time. In castles and historical ruins, archaeologists uncover relics, bones, symbols, and secret chambers that shed light on ancient rituals and tragedies, but these discoveries often create more confusion than clarity. For example, symbols etched into castle walls sometimes match those found in entirely different countries, with no historical link between them. How did the same symbols appear in locations separated by hundreds of miles and hundreds of years? Archaeologists can't fully explain it, and when they try to connect these findings with first-hand reports of apparitions, strange sounds, or temperature drops, the scientific explanations fall short. They can map the stones, date the bones, analyze the build materials, but they still can't explain why visitors continue to see the same phantom figure standing in the same tower where a medieval knight was said to have died centuries ago. Paranormal investigators bring devices designed specifically to detect spiritual or unexplained energy, yet even they struggle to interpret what they find. Some record EVP's electronic voice phenomena that sound like faint cries, whispers, or old languages no one speaks anymore. Others catch sudden temperature shifts of 10 to 20 degrees in rooms with no windows and sealed doors. Some experience physical sensations, pressure on their shoulders, the feeling of being touched, or sudden emotional changes they can't explain. Many walk into a cursed location as skeptics and walk out visibly shaken, unable to rationalize what they just experienced. Even drone technology and satellite imaging fail to provide clean answers. In certain haunted valleys or abandoned villages, drones capture strange mist formations or glowing orbs that move intelligently, changing direction as if aware of being observed. Thermal imaging reveals human-shaped heat signatures in areas with no people, then instantly loses them when investigators approach. Scientists repeatedly attempt to recreate these occurrences under controlled conditions and fail every time. And when historians join the efforts, hoping to solve the puzzle through historical context, they often discover missing documents, erased records, conflicting stories, and artifacts that don't match known timelines. It's as though the history of these places is intentionally fragmented, as if someone or something didn't want the full story to survive. Every attempt to uncover the truth exposes another layer of mystery that refuses to be solved. Across Europe, modern investigations don't close the book on cursed places. Instead, they open more chapters, revealing that these mysteries are not relics of the past. They're active, evolving, and interacting with the present in ways science, archaeology, and paranormal research still struggle to understand. When we talk about Europe's most cursed and mysterious places, people usually fall into one of two groups: those who believe the stories are exaggerated myths, and those who are convinced these locations hold real dangerous forces beyond human understanding. But the truth lies somewhere in the shadows between them. Every legend begins with a spark, an event, a witness, a moment that can't be explained away. And every location we explore in this documentary brings us one step closer to answering a question people have asked for centuries. Are these curses simply the result of ancient fears whispered from generation to generation? Or do they point to something truly real, something capable of affecting people even today? As we dig deeper into these places, it becomes clear that dismissing the stories as simple folklore is far too easy. The patterns are consistent, the testimonies too detailed, the experiences too widespread. People from entirely different backgrounds, different eras, and different belief systems report the same sensations: sudden dread, unexplained visions, whispers that seem to call their names, and physical sensations like being pushed or watched. Are all these people imagining the same thing? Or is something embedded in these places, an atmosphere, an energy, a force that interacts with the human mind in ways we still don't fully understand? Then there's the psychological angle, one that modern researchers often lean on. They say these ancient locations trigger fear because of their age, their darkness, their tragic histories. They argue that the human mind creates ghosts out of shadows, curses out of coincidences. But even psychology can't fully explain why groups of people experience the same event at the same moment. It can't explain why seasoned explorers, hardened soldiers, or trained investigators, people not easily frightened, have fled these places in panic they cannot rationalize. Psychological fear may explain a trembling hand or a racing heartbeat, but it doesn't explain centuries of consistent phenomena that happen in specific, precise locations, following patterns too deliberate to ignore. And that brings us to the third possibility, the idea that these places may actually hold real dangers, whether supernatural or rooted in forces science doesn't yet understand. There are forests where electromagnetic energy spikes violently for no clear reason. Castles where visitors faint at the same spot where executions once took place. Abandoned villages where animals refuse to enter, as if they sense something humans cannot. Underground tunnels where even the bravest explorers report a crushing pressure, as though the air itself pushes against them. These are not random experiences. They hint at something physical, something measurable, something that might exist just beyond the edge of what our tools are capable of detecting. Throughout this documentary, as we travel from cursed forests to haunted fortresses, from abandoned villages to underground labyrinths, we'll confront every angle. We'll examine the historical origins that planted the seeds of these legends. We'll analyze the psychological theories that attempt to explain our fear. And we'll confront the chilling possibility that these places might contain forces still active, still dangerous, and still capable of affecting anyone who steps too close. The deeper we go, the more we realize that Europe's cursed places are not just relics of the past. They're puzzles living, breathing enigmas, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover what truly lies beneath their haunting reputation. Each location holds a clue, each legend a piece of the truth, and each unexplained event a path leading toward the answer that has eluded humanity for generations. Myth, mind, or something very real, something still watching from the dark corners of history. Across our journey through Europe's most cursed and mysterious places, one thing becomes undeniable. These locations are far more than stories carved into old stone or whispered across campfires. They are living archives of everything humanity fears and everything history refuses to bury. From forests where travelers still vanish to castles echoing with footsteps that do not belong to the living, to villages shaped by centuries of rituals meant to keep the darkness away, each site carries its own truth, its own curse, its own unanswered questions. We've seen how ancient tragedies left scars that still bleed into the present. We've watched patterns repeat across generations, as if time itself loops around these haunted grounds. We've witnessed how entire cultures adapt their daily lives to survive the influence of these places, passing down rituals and warnings like priceless heirlooms of survival. And even with modern technology, advanced science, and teams of experts, the mysteries only deepen. Devices fail. Records disappear, evidence contradicts itself, and the shadows keep moving. So after exploring every angle, history, psychology, and the chilling possibility of real supernatural forces, we are left standing at the same threshold humanity has approached for centuries. A line between the world we understand and the world we fear. A line where logic begins to crumble and something older, something stranger, begins to take its place. These cursed places challenge everything we think we know about reality. They remind us that not all stories are just stories, and not all fears are imaginary. Some places seem to hold memories, energies, or forces that remain long after the people who created them are gone. Forces that continue to whisper, to echo, to warn, and sometimes to reach out. As we leave these ancient corridors, dark forests, and silent ruins behind, we're faced with a question that no historian, scientist, or investigator has been able to answer with certainty. Are these places haunted because of what happened there? Or because something is still happening there? And perhaps the real truth is this: some mysteries were never meant to be solved. Some curses were never meant to be lifted. And some places, no matter how much we explore, record, or analyze, will always remain gateways to Europe's darkest and most unsettling secrets. Which means the next time you walk past an old ruin, a lonely forest path, or a forgotten building, remember, history might not always be behind you. Sometimes it walks with you,